The way the left continues to clamor and claim that Donald Trump and his following resemble none other than Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party from the 1930s. Of course they do. Some say this kind of behavior is not normal, could possibly indicate some sort of mental illness. Take a look at this clip. Dr. Drew Pinsky was on last night with Gutfeld on Fox. Here it is.
It's such a cliche to say these people are mentally ill.
No, but it's a cliche, but it is something that's really worried me. Around COVID, I started asking myself, have we just become frankly delusional in this country? And now the delusionality, as you said, we can bear witness to what we just saw on those clips. The only time I ever heard anybody mention Nazis or Hitler was in the late 80s when I was running around the wards in a psychiatric hospital. Psychotic patients preoccupied delusionally about Nazis. The fact that people are doing that routinely speaks volumes about some sort of thought disorder we're in here.
Yeah, he has a bit of a point there. You see, Hitler and the Nazi Party murdered millions of people during their tenure, 6 million Jews, gypsies, and others. Did Donald Trump do that? I don't think so. He said, let's make America first. Let's close our border. Let's make sure we're orderly in what we do. Here to talk about this, the chief patient officer at the wellness company, Dr. Drew Pinsky. Doctor, nice to see you.
Pleasure to be here.
Trump derangement syndrome is on steroids, and I believe Donald Trump wins on Tuesday. We could see the biggest mental health crisis in American history for about 75 days or longer because these people are going to go bananas. Or am I wrong?
Well, no, that's what in that conversation on Gutfeld, what we were talking about was the panic that people are in. And one of the things I pointed out was, well, one group is panicked that they're going to lose and what that would be like. But the other group is panicked what's going to happen if they win, how the opposing population is going to react to a Trump victory should that happen. That is panic provoking. And it's interesting. You tied in Trump derangement, right? Which, if it's a real thing, has sort of a delusional quality to it. And there actually were two psychologists that actually documented what the criteria are for Trump derangement and who is prone to it. So it has some objective sort of weight behind it. Turns out people with a external sense of control, that is to say they don't have an internal sense of themselves. Things happen to them and they're not in control of that from the outside. That tends to set up this preoccupation. And it's a preoccupation. Yeah. It seems like a thought disturbance. It seems unrelated to reality. And that's what a thought disturbance is, a preoccupation with some sort of thought and system that you have no control over, that you can't reason with. And back in the day, back in the 1890s or 1790s, early 1800s, it was I'm Napoleon. That was the delusion then. And in the 1970s, the 1980s, it was the Nazis are coming to get me. The fact that has returned to me is just absolutely bizarre.
It is absolutely bizarre. All right, look. I think the potentially most dangerous time of your lifetime or mine could be that 75-day period between Election Day and Inauguration Day, provided Trump wins. I mean, you've seen what happened to Minneapolis and other cities. You saw the anti-Semitic behavior taking over college campuses. You've seen this left-wing preponderance to violence already and extreme behavior. I think it gets amplified if Trump gets elected. I mean, this could just be a hugely dangerous period in American history, couldn't it?
Of course it could, but I would urge caution. I would urge calm. That let's think about it this way. For the most part, we've kind of seen the playbook, right? We've seen how they organize and pull off and fund some of these things, and how the press operates and how they in unison faux outrage and repeat the same things over and over again. This won't have the same impact as, say, when it did during COVID, which was the same playbook again, or as it did during the summer of COVID, where people were demonstrating with such intensity. I think people will start to think, maybe I don't want to participate in this because I don't know really where it came from and who organized it. And people who aren't on that side will see it perhaps for what it is. So the playbook has been opened through, frankly, the over-rendering of their hand.
Yeah, you would hope that that would be true. You know, speaking of COVID, Barack Obama mentioned on the campaign trail, first time I think I've heard it mentioned in quite a while, said he had a plan out there that would have prevented 400,000 people from dying. Any truth to that? I mean, he's basically taking shots at Donald Trump, obviously.
What would that? I wonder what that plan would have been. Perhaps not do lockdowns and not do mandates and not harm children.
Yeah.
I mean, there's numbers now being generated that suggest the reaction to COVID harmed as many people as the COVID itself, and that was during the subsequent administration. So, very interesting to say that. I have a plan that might have been helpful. How about public health? Do public health. How about rather than the Defense Department and the National Security Council running a public health crisis, how about public health do it? How about they serve an advisory position as they always have? And how about they help educate people about how to get through COVID and how to survive it and get treatment for it? Back in the darker days of Alpha and Delta, we had monoclonal antibodies available and nobody knew it because no one was educating the public about how to get treatment for free for their COVID.
Yeah. You know, the wellness company where you work has a spike protein formula that's available for people to take if you got the injection and now you're thinking, my God, what have I done? If you had COVID, it is the only thing out there that I think has been scientifically tested, this spike formula protein and supplement. It really is effective, isn't it?
This is all based on Dr. Peter McCullough's work, and he has been treating hundreds, maybe now thousands of patients quite successfully. He has it parsed out into many different syndromes, and he approaches it from various different ways. But this sort of supplement program that you're talking about is his cornerstone. He uses, I'm not suggesting you do this, but he will actually encourage large amounts sometimes of nattokinase, and he reports excellent results with this. So, you know, listen, there are many ways to approach long COVID. There are many ways to help protect yourself, not the least of which is same old as always, which is hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Make sure you're proper nutrition, make sure you're sleeping right, make sure you're exercising, something I've been pushing on quite a bit lately. But if you really have trouble and you really don't feel yourself, there are ways to help people with long COVID and long vaccine, which is increasingly common.
There you have it, Dr. Drew. Listen, a lot of great things at twc.health/voice. twc.health/voice. You can get these great emergency kits. So when I burned my hand viciously about 3 weeks ago, I had everything I needed right here. Silvadene was on the scene in about 5 minutes, and thank God for that.
I'll tell you what, I've reached into those kits three times in the last 2 weeks. So that's me as a physician. I was so glad I had them on hand. There were things I wanted to use for my wife and even another family member, and it was there. So here we had it.
Don't get caught. Don't get caught without, I say. twc.health/voice, twc.health/voice. Dr. Drew, thank you so much.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.